Hello everybody, welcome to Parichai UPSC. My name is Ashmita and I am here to discuss about current affairs of 18th June 2026. Before I start, I'd let you all know that this is not the general spoon feeding session that other UPSC coaching centers give because I'm not a full time faculty currently. I'm working and teaching and also preparing for civil services. So it is not possible for me to make those elaborate slides and very functional PDFs for everyone. So I won't be doing that. This is more like me trying to discuss the things that I learn during my preparation. It's because there's no point doing it alone. So when I'm doing it anyway, why don't I just record it and post it online? So this is the point of this particular playlist. Later in the future, when things get formalized, everything will be done like other institutes or whatever is better for the better training of students of aspirants. So yeah, this is the disclaimer. I hope everyone understands that. And if you know, I may not cover a lot of information in depth because that would take a lot of time. That would take like 4 or 5 hours just to discuss every point in pin to pin detail. So I will just most probably read the headlines, pick and choose any information that is particularly necessary to be explained, or else I'll just tell you what is to be studied for which topic so that you can do it on your own. So instead of having no guidance, instead of having a pathless journey, I will just tell you that you can do this, you can choose that path. So if you choose that path, you can, it's not like the path is already there, you'll have to make your own path. So I'll tell you the direction and then you'll have to make your own path. So if that is a fine thing for you, you can revisit our sessions, which will most probably be every day, or sometimes based on my availability it might be skipped. So yeah, that's the point. Anyway, let's see what news we have today. We are taking it directly from Press Information Bureau, the most authentic source. So there are 50 press releases this on this day, but obviously we are not going to cover all 50 of them. So we'll see the first one. President's Secretariat has released President of India graces function environment of tribal. Oh, I'm sorry. President of India graces function empowerment of tribal society by spiritual awakening at Betul. So yesterday we discussed that President is on a 3 or 4 day visit to Madhya Pradesh and Odisha. So we'll not discuss this now. We'll discuss this after the entire visit ends so that we will have an entire list happen chronologically. It will be easy to understand. Next, Vice President CP Radhakrishnan to visit Ladakh. Again, important. Important in the sense just to know that why Ladakh for analysis purposes. This may not be, definitely will not be asked in prelims, but what might be asked is information about Ladakh or who is the current vice president per se, that is CP Radhakrishnan. Okay, commands. Okay, Vice President commends University of Delhi's efforts under Nasha Mukt Parisar Abhiyan. So this has been in news quite lately. So we'll see what this is about. So you can see it directly. Vice President comments the efforts. Over 53,000 students take pledge to support the vision of drug-free India. So I have notes made on this topic. We will check out. So yes, I have various kinds of notes here. We are talking about Nasha Mukt Bharat, right? Okay, it's not there. Yeah, I found it. Yeah. So this is the first. Okay, I just scrolled down for no reason. But anyway, let's see what we have here. I have my pen, it's functioning. Let's go for blue. So we have Vice President comments University efforts Nasha Mukt Parisar. Why isn't it writing? Okay, done. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what is the news? There is a drug-free campus campaign running. 53,000 students have participated for the objective of Nasha Mukt Bharat. So what is this? It's a drug-free campus where in schools, colleges, universities, educational institutions. And what is the objective? Very simple, to prevent drug abuse. This is all just simple information. You don't have to read everything. You can just take a screenshot and read. If I discuss every point, it's going to take a very long time. So this is just like an analysis. You can see a lot of information. This is like analysis, India's demographic structure. So why is the campaign needed for our demographic structure? Because highly populous, young children, rising drug trafficking. So this can be a direct question in mains. So there is a concept of golden crescent and golden triangle. You'll have to know where the crescent is, where the triangle is. Crescent is on the west of India, triangle is on the east of India. You'll have to know the countries. Know the countries. The countries. So please find the countries. So again, issue of national concern, historical background. So we'll see what acts we have with regard, what legal approaches or what policy approaches India has taken for anti-drug efforts. So we have the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act of 1985. So it clearly mentions if you are caught with, let's say, marijuana, it has a limit. Like if it is some 500 grams, the punishment is given. If 1 kg, the punishment is different. So it is there to control narcotic drugs, prevent trafficking, punish illegal possession and sale. See, as I said, for marijuana, not just marijuana, even for other drinks like cocaine, meth, LSD, etc. So next we have an international convention. India joined the United Nations Convention against illicit trafficking in narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. So United Nation Convention against illicit traffic in narcotic drug, PS. Very, very, very big name. I really hope they do not ask anything about this. It's just very lengthy. So again, Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan. So when did this start? When did we start the drug free India campaign? In 2020 by Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Target, it's not necessary, it's basic common sense, awareness, community participation, rehabilitation of the victims, counseling, to stop excessive usage of drugs or to stop, what is it called, relapse. Okay, so that is all. None of this is important. There are institutional frameworks. You have Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. What was the nodal ministry for this? Social Justice and Empowerment. So again we have Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Ministry of Home Affairs. What is it doing? Enforcement of anti-drug. NCB, Apex Anti-Drug Agency, very, very important. Might be a direct question. State police, universities, NGOs. See, these are private again. NGOs are non-government organizations, obviously. So as I told you, you can write this in governance, you can use this in social issues, internal security, public health. So you can just read all of this. I'll just clear it off. If you can read that, I don't know if you can see it. Just take a screenshot and try to study. There are certain stats as well for answers. See, around 16 crore people consume alcohol. I think it's more anyway. About 3.1 crore people use cannabis. Cannabis is marijuana, we discussed. 2.3 crores use opioids. Opioids, you can think opium wars. Which country? Opium wars. So you'll have to connect things like that. Of course, it's irrelevant for our current discussion, but just feels nice to connect things here and there. Anyway, so that's about that. Next, we will see what information we have, what news we have. Okay, this is a new one. This particular Lok Sabha Secretariat, Jain saints are bringing about change throughout the world, is something that was recently added. This is told by Lok Sabha Speaker. I think Lok Sabha Speaker is on a tour. We'll see. Raipur, Chhattisgarh. Anyway, this is unimportant. I'm searching if there are any important words here. Param Puja. Very important words. If there are any important words that might be asked in prelims, because they love asking random things from Jainism and Buddhism. Okay. I didn't find any important word. If you can find, you can comment. We'll see next one. Okay, the PM has done a lot of things. PM shares article on yoga, article on role of youth, article on water management, efforts to preserve and promote. So in general, you'll have to have answers prepared for each topic. Not exactly what Prime Minister said, but in general, what is water management? What is Viksit Bharat? What is yoga's role? Highlights efforts to preserve and promote India's cultural heritage. So that again is a different answer. And Sanskrit Subhashitam. So I discussed yesterday as well. PM Modi is almost every day, in fact quite regularly, tweeting about a Sanskrit Subhashitam. So you just have to know what a Subhashitam is, nothing more than that. Because since every day one news is coming, one tweet is getting tweeted, if we keep remembering every Subhashitam, that's a complete waste of time. So just know that Subhashitam means good sayings. That is all. Su means good. Bhashitam means sayings. So if you know that, that is enough. Next, Prime Minister condoles the passing of eminent Buddhist scholar Robert A.F. Thurman. So this person is important. So I prepared notes for that. So Robert A.F. Thurman. So he is an eminent scholar in Tibetan Buddhism, you can see. One of the earliest Western scholars in Tibetan Buddhism. First Westerner ordained, among the first, not the first, among the first. Ordained as Tibetan Buddhist monk by Tenzin Gyatso. So nobody's going to ask you who did it. He co-founded Tibet House. None of this is important. All you have to know is about Tibetan Buddhism. So Buddhism is of three kinds: Hinayana, Mahayana, and Vajrayana. Vajrayana is the Buddhism that is found in Tibet. So our Dalai Lama is the person who is currently the head. Dalai means Guru. He is currently the head of Tibetan Buddhism. Okay, so let's see. So he was awarded Padma Shri in 2020. So this is important. Might be a question if you are preparing for SSC or anything other than non-UPSC. Then these kind of questions become important. Padma Shri in which year and everything. UPSC usually doesn't ask like that, but this year we've seen the paper was very absurd. Again, if you keep reading everything on this planet, that will just exhaust your brain. So instead, just try to remember 2 or 3 things about a topic. If you're lucky enough, you might be able to answer, or else it's the Tukamar gang. Tukamar. Anyway, I hope that doesn't happen the next year. I hope it is completely knowledge based paper, mostly on static. Else, as I said, it's going to be a real problem. So he died. And anyway, he is the father of Uma Thurman. Uma Thurman is very, very famous. Okay, let me just show you so that you can remember. We'll see Robert, we'll see Uma Thurman as well. Robert Thurman. So this man is Robert Thurman. Robert Thurman. And this is his daughter, Uma Thurman, who is very famous from the film Pulp Fiction. It's okay. So she's in films like Pulp Fiction, very, very, very famous poster, very popular actress, Uma Thurman. So yeah, just so that you remember, I did that, or else nobody's gonna ask you that. That is enough. He recently died. This is all the information required to have, nothing else. With the next important news, Prime Minister meets President of United States of America on the sidelines of G7 summit in Evian. So Evian is a place in France. So the G7 summit is being conducted in France, being hosted by France this year. Next year it's going to be Germany. So what happened? They discussed some things. We will see. India and US compact. What is compact? You have to know what is compact. It is catalyzing opportunities for military partnership, accelerated commerce and technology. So military and commerce and technology related thing. So the two leaders revived the substantial progress achieved under this compact pact, and other things like US trade representative was also present. Anyway, we'll discuss about other important static information from this. So not just about the sidelined meeting of Donald Trump and Modi, we will also discuss about other people Prime Minister Modi has met in Evian during the G7 summit. So what is G7? First of all, let me grab my pen. So yes, G7 is an informal group of industrialized democracies. You have to know the members: Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, and United States. So these all were involved in World War II, if you can see, except for Canada. I mean, Canada had its involvement, but it wasn't directly like the Allies and the Axis power. It wasn't a direct ally. So we have France, Germany, Italy, Japan, United Kingdom, and United States. And we have European Union as well. It is non-enumerated, means it is not counted. It is not counted. So what are the functions? Economic governance, international security, energy cooperation. This just be random. If you want to read, you can read. I usually skip it. I mean, this becomes important if you're writing mains. So in prelims, nobody's going to ask you any of this. But if you're writing mains, you'll have to write these exact words, and then you'll have to by heart everything. Okay, so the nature of the meeting this year, it was the 52nd G7 Leaders Summit, and India was an invited partner during the G7 outreach. So outreach means they are reaching other countries who are not the members. So we are not a G7 member, obviously. We were invited, and this is the 7th consecutive appearance of PM Modi and 13th participation. So this might be important because this sort of questions were asked in this year's UPSC. So we might have to remember the numbers as well. So the venue also, Avon Le in France, situated near the Swiss border on Lake Geneva. So Lake Geneva becomes important. Dates, host is Emmanuel Macron, the president of France. Next, going to be hosted by Germany. So the bilateral meetings we have had with different countries. So with US, it is Donald J. Trump, the US President, POTUS. So PM Modi talked about the seafarer security, because we know what happened recently. There was death of 3 Indian soldiers of a different ship in Oman. So they must have definitely discussed all of that. At the Strait of Hormuz is important. The geography of Strait of Hormuz is important. So next, India-US Compact, reviewing the progress of US Compact. I told you this is commerce, technology, military, etc. And then interim bilateral trade agreement reported to be near completing. So we have a bilateral trade agreement that is interim. Interim matlab something in the middle, not the full thing. And of course, we are also having different cooperation. And if you're using Insta, you must have seen reels where Trump is saying that he will take care of India until PM Modi is the leader of India. So that is one thing. Next, with Canada, meeting with Mark Carney, the PM. Mark Carney is the PM. Again, they talked about trade cooperation. Both countries aim to conclude the CIPA agreement. So you have PCA, you have FTA, you have CEPAS, and you have CETAS. So various agreements, you'll have to know the hierarchy. So let me just show you, since the topic has come. Let me just show you CIPA, CETA, FTA. There's a very wonderful diagram available. So you can see PTA, FTA, CECA, Customs Union. CECA or CEPA or CETA, they all come here in the third circle. Next you have Customs Union, then you have Common Market, then you have Economic Market. We'll see if we have any other circle as that. No, we don't have. So the hierarchy, 9 FTAs in 6 years. There's one more news you can see. So you can see a lot of FTAs, free trade agreements between India, Mauritius, India, UAE, CEPA, India, Australia, ECTA, India, EFTA, TEPA, India, UK, CETA, India, Oman, CEPA. So these are important. I'm just taking a screenshot for myself, but I'll have to read again. Anyway, we'll go back. So again, I was meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. So India will always be on the side of peace was a quotation or a statement that has been quoted here from PM Modi. Next, PM Modi's AI governance proposals at G7. So we are talking about AI governance here. The theme being ensure a safe, rapid and efficient rollout of AI. The core philosophy is Manav Vision. Manav Vision means human-centric AI. Manav means human. So the AI that is getting developed, there is a fear that humans might become obsolete. Yes, the entire existence of humans itself might become obsolete with the presence of AI. So that shouldn't happen, and there should be a human-centric AI approach is what India is aiming for. So again, these are again things you'll have to by heart for your mains. Cyberspace as a global public good. This is important. You can use it in writing your answers. So there are 4 major AI proposals here. Safe by design AI. So the design itself of the AI should be safe, not an afterthought. While during the on-paper plan itself, it should be well thought out. Next, common standards and regulatory sandboxes. Means experiment zones, that is all. Before launching to the public, even before pilot launches, these sandboxes are made so that to test if the technology is working properly or not, and once it passes the regulatory sandboxes and other checks, it is released to public. So we are supposed to have common standard and regulatory sandboxes as well, and we have to combat deepfake and AI fraud. That is anyway a thing, and inclusive AI for global south. You can also write about Viksit Bharat and Vision Bharat 2047. All of these can be included if you are writing your answer. Child safety as well is important. If you want, you can just read. But anyway, other major summit highlights you can see. No, I think we have additional bilateral meets as well. Okay, we'll go there. But let's see global south advocacy. So, Global South has been important recently, especially since the G20 meeting in India. Global South has become a very important topic. So, what is Global South and which line divides Global South is the question. Bertrand line is what I believe. I think it is Bertrand line only. Let me just check it. Bertrand line Global South. It's a Brandt report. It's the Brandt report. Brandt line, not Bertrand. Then I don't know who's Bertrand. I don't know why I even remember that name. But anyway, I'll just show you what is Bertrand line so you guys know it. Sorry, Brandt line. You can see the maps. So this is the line that divides the area that is on the upper side, that is on the north, are the richer countries, and the ones are on the south are the poorer countries that needs to be developed. So that becomes important. Next, Franco-Swiss security coordination, because Yvonne is located near Switzerland. French and Swiss authorities coordinated at the summit. This is unimportant. You can leave it. So additional bilateral meetings. So Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan was met by PM Modi. It is third meeting with him in 2026. Comprehensive strategic partnership is what we are aiming for. West Asia and maritime security, because as you guys know, let me show the map. Of, okay, let's go for world map, then I can just zoom in for you people. It's having clarity issues. So this is your UAE. You can clearly see UAE is here, and India, and then we have Arabian Sea. A lot of problem now because of the closure of Strait of Hormuz. So we need oil from UAE, from Saudi. So we have to have our own alternatives and our own security measurements by passing the Strait of Hormuz. So we are trying to have agreements with other Middle Eastern countries so that we can get our supply of petrol. We are also using other alternative methods like Atmanirbhar Bharat. We are trying to bring in ethanol. We are trying to bring in EVs so that we don't depend on oil. So yes, that. Again, PM Modi invited UAE President to attend the upcoming BRICS event in India. So important. We'll talk about it when it happens. Next, United Kingdom meeting with Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer is the PM of UK, living in 10 Downing Street. 10 Downing Street is the residence. Anyway, Vision 2035 roadmap. So they are trying to review the progress of Vision 2035, and then we have a trade cooperation, comprehensive economic and trade agreement, educational cooperations. Yeah, of course, I forgot to even mention that. UK, July 15th, UK India agreement is going to start. The CETA is going to kick off on July 15th this year. So that is important. So this might be a question. You can see which university, campus is in which city. So just try to remember that. Next, this is also important. There was a meeting with the European Union people. So that is important. You can just read this part. We have Antonio Costa. Forgot the resignation of this man. And Ursula von der Leyen. Let me just search. I forgot Who's which commissioner? Okay. The Antonio Costa is the president of European Council, and Ursula is the president of European Commission. They were also the chief guests for India's Republic Day this year. So we are trying to have a very good friendship with the European Union. That is when the India EU FTA was also signed. That is important. Next, meeting with the Chancellor of Germany, Friedrich Merz. Friedrich Merz. This is also the 75 years of diplomatic relation. This is a coincidence. So this is important. It's been 75 years since India and Germany has had the diplomatic relations. So we are trying to have better visa facility. Germany introduced a transit visa waiver. So if suppose you're going to London and you have to wait in Germany for your next flight, you don't need a transit visa waiver. Such is the thing, and PM Modi invited Germany for the 8th India Germany Intergovernmental Council. Obviously, Germany is going to come. I don't understand what's the need to invite. But okay, India is Atiti Devo Bhava. But yeah, that is all the information. This is all the key small facts. If you want, you can just take a screenshot. Okay, we'll go back. Uh-oh. We'll see what's here. Again, all of this we've covered with the previous article. Next, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi will give a big gift of 23rd installment of PM Kisan. You just have to know what is PM Kisan as a scheme. That is all. You don't have to remember what's the installment and everything. And Annadata is nothing but farmer. They are calling Annadatas now. I think it was mentioned in our budget, like Annadatas. So you don't need the number. You just have to know what is PM Kisan. PM Kisan is popular, so I'm not going there. I'm interested in this topic, so we'll go there. The ICAR and IIOR, Smart Seed Coating Technology. So this is important. So we have a smart seed coating technology for strengthening climate resilient agriculture. Means to make sure that it is not very directly affected by the climate change. How to enhance seed quality and crop establishment is how we are gonna do this. Smart seed technology delivers up to 30% higher yields. Anyway, we will see. So all of this, I've prepared a notes for it. So we'll not read all of that. We'll just read it simply. Why to complicate things? So you can see IIOR is Indian Institute of Oil Seeds Research, Hyderabad. Important. Since it is in news, you'll have to know the location. And what did we do? Smart seed coating technology is what we have done. What is the purpose? Improve crop establishment, stress tolerance. So if there is too much sunlight, the plant which has emerged from this seed can be tolerant to it. Yields can be increased. They can be biodegradable and biopolymer layer carrying beneficial input. So please see that. Okay, I just drank some water. Anyway, field demonstration showed. So the researchers showed us a demonstration of how it worked. So 30% higher yield and productivity gain. We don't need all of that. First, you'll have to understand the problem. I think you guys know it. Abiotic. So drought, heat wave, moisture, all of these affect biotic fungi, bacteria, all of these affect your seeds, plants, and they die. And then you have famines. So all of this is bad, bad, bad. So you need to do good things. You have to save your seed, you have to save the annadata, you have to save agriculture. So how do you do it? This is one way. Smart seed technology. A seed is coated with a special biodegradable biopolymer layer. This is important. Biodegradable, what does it mean? It degrades, it disintegrates within the environment. Then we have something called biopolymer. Biopolymer. Polymer is just a long chain of molecules. Since there are many, it's called poly. And bio means it is produced from biological sources rather than synthetic chemical sources. Anyway, it's a protective jacket around the seed. So this jacket will protect the seed from adverse effects. And the coating can itself can carry beneficial microbes, nutrients, micronutrients, biofertilizers, etc. So it's not just a coating, it is also a nutrient helping layer. So I told you what is a biopolymer, naturally derived biodegradable polymer like starch, cellulose, chitosan. This might be important. Star. Again, none of this is just common sense, man. How does the seed work? Seed receives biopolymer coating, beneficial input are embedded in the coating. After sowing, coating absorbs moisture, seed gets all of these things. Seed germinates faster. That is all. That is all. You don't need all of this. If they ask you to write an answer, I think you should be able to write it on your own rather than writing these by-hearted answers. But if you can just read it once, these words will just stick in your mind. Just read it once so that the words are stuck in your mind. Also, answer writing is important for this purpose. So all crops, man, almost every crop it is being used. So Telangana demonstrates groundnut and soybean net 30% yield increase. That is all. That is all. This is again just random information. So the organizations are, we know, ICAR. ICAR is mentioned. What is ICAR? It is Indian Council of Agricultural Research, important, established in 1929. That is all. Earlier name Imperial Council because it was under British and renamed after independence. Ministry, you know, headquarters, you know, New Delhi. That is all. Next is IIOR, Hyderabad. That is all. Nothing else they are going to ask from it. Then we have National Seed Corporation, 1963, Ministry of Agriculture, important. Farmer produce organizations are also important. It's a collective. This is a private association, organization, NGO. It is an NGO. Collective of farmers registered as producer companies or cooperatives. Okay, so it's a cooperative, it's not an NGO. I'm sorry for that. Cooperatives are different, NGOs are different. That is all. That is for about this topic, about the seed coating. Next we'll see what else we have. Where is it? Where is my all press release? Yeah, I think it's different date. Where's my all press release? Because we don't need that. You don't need that. Don't need that. I think yes, this one. Next you can see Bharat BuildCon 2026 inaugurated under the theme One Nation, One Expo. Just remember the name One Nation, One Expo and Bharat BuildCon. Maybe they might ask you the location, so we'll just see where it is. Where was this conducted? New Delhi. That is all. Bharat BuildCon, One Nation, One Expo, an exhibition for building materials and construction of industries. That is all. So building for constructions and everything in Delhi. Oh, okay, you don't need that. Ministry of Communication, don't need that. Shri Amit, next is cooperation, you don't need that. Next, Prahlad Joshi to grace stone laying ceremony of new testing facility of National Testing House. Don't need that. Indian Army contingent to depart for multilateral military exercise. Conquest, important. So where is this conquest? Indian Army is going Exercise Conquest. Where is this? 5 Hills Training Area, Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. That is all you are required to know. Army is going, that is in Mongolia. That is all. Don't stress much. Next we have ICG bolsters operational effectiveness. Okay, you don't need that. I mean, if this is asked, it's just unfortunate, man. I don't know. I'm not going there. Raksha Mantri or the Defense Minister to perform Bhumi Pujan for 10,000 tons of aluminium extrusion. So this is being set up at Nagpur. That is all you are required to know. Aluminium extrusion press at Yantra India Limited in Nagpur. This is for the purpose. What is an aluminium extrusion press? It is nothing. You just add the raw material or the billets of aluminium and press it with hydraulic press, and then the press pushes it into a mold. The mold gives out the desired shape of aluminium, and they want to use this for defense purposes. Okay, next one. UN. Oh my god, I'm not touching this neat topic. Two kids have committed suicide yesterday. And you can see the education system faltering in India, but I won't be touching that topic. Maybe you might get a question in mains, but this is problematic to me. I'm not touching that. Next, NIXI to celebrate. What is NIXI? I don't know what is NIXI. What is NIXI? National Internet Exchange of India. Okay, this is important then. National Internet Exchange of India is called NIXI. So what is the purpose of NIXI? We will see. Is a non-profit organization set up under the aegis of Ministry MeitY. NIXI plays critical role in strengthening India's internet infrastructure. That is all. It's just an exchange, man. Nothing. Efficient exchange for domestic internet traffic, managing the .in. So this might be a very, very important question. The .in domain of India. It's not domain. The .in, what is it called? Country code domain is maintained by NIXI. Important, very, very, very important. NIXI.in. Next, Union Minister inaugurates Jubil's new advanced manufacturing facility. So we'll see what is Jubil, what is advanced manufacturing technology. So inaugurated Jubil is a company, new advanced manufacturing technology. So manufacturing facility. So we are manufacturing things here in advanced way, that is using of Internet of Things, using of AI, robotic arms and everything. And an export centric data center. So we know what a data center is. This is the place where AI stores all of its data and processes its data so that it can give you your answer. So this has been done in Pune. That is important. And see what is this news. So Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission represents India at 16th International Meeting of World Pharmacopoeias in Brazil. So you just have to know where it happened. It happened in Brazil. And what is a pharmacopoeia is important. So let me just check out if we have any information that is necessary. Okay, it was organized by who? WHO. And leading pharmacopoeias worldwide, including Brazilian, European, Korean, lots of countries have attended. Is there any other? Okay, some highlighted part. Indian pharmacopoeia are comparable with leading international pharmacopoeias. Okay, that is just useless information. Okay, I have my own notes for this again. Okay, where is my pharmacopoeia? I think it was second. This we have discussed. This we've discussed. This we've discussed. Jubil we've discussed. This is just okay. So let's see. So Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission participated in 16th International Meet of World Pharmacopoeias at Brasilia, Brazil. So, what is the point? It was coordinated by WHO and brought together major pharmacopoeias of world to discuss and standard harmonization. So, we'll see what each of it is. Oh, why isn't it writing? Okay, what is a pharmacopoeia? It is an official book of standards for medicine. That is all. So, if there is paracetamol, PCM, and it has to be having maybe just 650 mg, so it has to be having just 650 mg, and the dosage is supposed to be only 2 per day. So these standards, and how much paracetamol, is it 10 ml? Like if there is a mixed drug, there are drugs that are mixed, like paracetamol and diclofenac also come together. So how much PCM should be there, how much diclof should be there, how many mg. So all these standards are mentioned in this book called Pharmacopoeia. So it identifies the drug, the strength, the quality test, the purity requirements, etc., storage conditions, and manufacturing standards. So that is all. So India also has its own official drug book. India also has, oh no, this keeps happening, dudes. Yeah, fortunately we came faster. Oh my lord, these things keep happening. So Indian Pharmacopoeia has its own books. We have Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. So what is Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission? It comes under Ministry of Health, headquarters Ghaziabad, important. What is pharmacovigilance? Again, frequently asked in UPSC. It is monitoring side effects of medicines after they enter the market. So after they enter the market, what is it monitoring? Side effects. That is important. So we also have a pharmacovigilance program in India as well. So what is IMWP? International Meeting of World. This is what happened. So harmonization is important. It is making standards similar across the country. This might be a word that can be asked. So if India is having a different PCM rule, different manufacturing standard for PCM is paracetamol, and US is having for something else, we are trying to equalize it so that it's just better to have better standards, right? So if we just equalize that, there won't be any discrepancies further. So again, India is famous for its anti-tuberculosis medicines, one of the world's largest tubal burdens. We have anti-cancer medicines, anemic medicines. So it shows that India has lots of TB, India has lots of anemia, iron deficiency. So that is what you can think of. None of this is important. So this is just a list, you can see. None of this is important. If you want, you can just take a screenshot. But anyway, that is it. I think this is the last one. Next, what do we have? Okay, Union Home Minister Mr. Sergio Gore. This is Sergio Gore, US Ambassador. Okay, we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need this. We don't need this. Okay, we might need this. So 19th MIFF 2026 visual glimpses from the second edition of Waves Dog Bazaar. So you have to know what is Waves. Waves is nothing but a scheme that was introduced in India for visual, auditory, and such things. So it is more of like creativity in India. Creativity in India. Where is my information? I don't know, where's my information? I'm not finding it. Okay, so let me just show you about what is Waves. Waves was launched in 2024, announced in 2024, first meeting 2025. So you can just, if you are searching anything, you can just say Waves 2025 and UPSC, and you get all the right information. So you can see this happened last year. So, Government of India begins the World Audio, Visual and Entertainment Summit 2025 at Geo Center. So, this is under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Promotes dialogue, innovation, and collaboration across media. It has 4 core pillars. This might be important. Broadcasting, AVGCXR. They might ask you what is AVGXR, and you have to know it. Animation, visual effect, gaming, comics, and extended reality, etc. That is all. This is all you're required to know as of now. Let's go back to our news. Young French makers. Second edition concludes successfully. This is important. So what is a doc bazaar? So doc bazaar is a place where documentaries are discussed. The makers of documentaries, the producers, the writers, they all just come into one place at one exchange, and they exchange their ideas. A producer can approach a script writer, etc. So that is just a place where shopping of these things can happen. So this concluded, and various awards were also given. You can see, if you want, you can remember, but it's just hard for me. Ado Dili, do char din. Anyway, if you want, you can remember this. I'm not remembering this, so I'm skipping. Next, Ministry of MSME to hold first BRICS MSME forum. So that is all you are required to know. So BRICS MSME forum is going to happen. You have to know what is MSME, micro, small, medium enterprises, and the categorization of it. Next, this is unimportant. This is unimportant. Kadian Bias railway line project, important. So these projects are important. You must know where what is there. Punjab, Majha, Ranveer Singh Bittu. So Kadian Bias railway link. Where is it? There's no mention. Anyway, just remember that there is a railway link that has been revived after 100 years. Again, green initiative to transport fly ash by railways. You have to know what is fly ash. That is important. PM Kisan, you have to know what is PM Kisan. Social justice, SC students. That is all, man. That is all for today. I think I was going to discuss something else as well. I think I was going to discuss the PM Rozgar Yojana, but it is not mentioned here. Anyway, so we'll go to GK today. What we have on GK today. Celtic prince's grave found not necessary. UAE sets minimum social media age necessary. You might have to know which countries have done it. Uttar Pradesh light rankings. I don't study. Fatima Sana sets world record. If you want, you can read. Like, they might ask a question in upcoming exam. Like, if there is an exam next month, this question might come. So I am not going to go there. World Day to Combat is important. It is 17th June. It is important. Scientists discover new Foster moth. They keep discovering everything someday. If you are lucky, you'll remember these, or else you won't. India and Thailand hold 10th defense dialogue. So this is important. We have 10th defense dialogue at Bangkok is important. Odisha clears 76,000 crore investment proposal. My God. Okay, that is all. And there was this one more news I wanted to share. Yes, this one. So the DPIIT, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, introduced a revised series of WPI and new PPI with 2022 and 2023 as base year. So this is extremely important. This is the base year now. It also launched something called the Output PPI. So that is what has happened. Let me just check out. I think we have also changed CPI. Let me check the year for CPI, WPI, PPI, Output PPI. Okay, sorry. output, PPI, etc. base years, and when changed. We'll see when they've changed. So we've seen CPI is to 2024 is the base year. WPI, output PPI, and IIP all are 2022, 2023, 2024 now. So this is important, and for your core you have to know the difference between CPI, WPI, output PPI, and IIP. Okay, so let me just conclude our discussion here today, because we've already gone past 40 minutes, I guess. So I think I might have to decrease the topics we are going to discuss and maybe choose 5 or 6 topics every day from the press bureau, and then go deeper into the static, because I think static is important. Again, this is a dilemma. If you can read static, if you have time for the day, you can definitely read the static part. But as of now, I'm focusing more on the information rather than the depth. Okay, so anyway, have a good day, have a good night. Bye bye.